Mario games. There sure are a lot of them, aren't there? And since naturally I did a video on underrated Mario games, the link to that video will be in the description if you're interested in checking it out. Today, I'm going to be doing overrated Mario games. Now, don't get me wrong, almost every Mario game is great to some degree, but there definitely are some Mario games out there that I personally believe get much more love and attention than they should. So today, I'm going to be taking a look at 5 Mario games that I believe are overrated, and I'm also going to be giving my reasons as to why I believe they are overrated. With that said, let's get into the video in 3, 2, 1, let's go! Oh boy, are we starting out with an interesting one. Super Mario 64, the game that defined 3D gaming and was a staple for many 3D games to follow. And yeah, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but seriously, this is what people call the best 3D Mario game? No. Don't get me wrong, it was great for the time and it is still pretty fun today, but this game just has a lot of problems. I may not hate this game as much as Eli Guy, who you should definitely subscribe to, link to his channel's in the description, but still, I definitely think it's incredibly overrated. 1, the level design. I'm not saying it's bad, I would say that most of the levels are greatly designed, but stuff like Dire Docks, Rainbow Ride, Hazy Maze Cave, Wet Dry World? No, those are just levels that I absolutely hate playing on, and I honestly think that they are really bad levels. Stuff like Bob Battlefield, Mom's Fortress, Cool Mountain, and Tick-Tock Clock I think are great in my opinion, and most of the other levels are quite good, but still, the level design is pretty weak compared to some other 3D Mario games with this type of style, especially compared to Sunshine and Odyssey. And the music, not saying it's bad by any means, but come on, newer Mario soundtracks and other Mario soundtracks in general just have much more interesting tunes to them. Of course, nothing's ever gonna top Galaxy and Sunshine's, obviously. And, you know, the tunes are pretty good, but the fact that so many of them are reused, and it's pretty much on the lower end of the Mario spectrum music-wise. The controls. I don't even need to say anything about the controls. Look, playing with a Nintendo 64 controller is not fun. Look, just using a Nintendo 64 controller is not fun. I don't think that's a very controversial statement. The controls are fine for like what they are, but with the Nintendo 64 controller, just no. It's better when you play it on 3D All-Stars, but still, it still feels kind of wonky. The camera, dear God, what in the world were they doing when it comes to the camera? Super Lakitu Bros, the people who hold your camera, never hire them, alright? If you're looking for a cameraman, I got you. Never hire Super Lakitu Bros ever. Because they're pretty much just a scam, like, let's be honest. Seriously, but all jokes aside, seriously, what the heck is up with that camera? It's just god-awful. So, Mario 64, it does have a lot of problems. It's still a good game and all, but my gosh does it have a lot of problems. And it definitely shouldn't be held in as high as regard as, let's say, Sunshine or the Galaxies, Odyssey, or heck, even 3D World. I personally think that Mario 64, don't get me wrong, it was great for the time, but now there's just so many other better Mario games out there with much less problems. So that's why I think that Mario 64 definitely is an overrated Mario game. Oh boy, we went from one controversial opinion to another. I'm just gonna let you know, if you can't take controversial opinions, then you better leave right now. Alright, Mario Bros. 3, the one that everyone talks about from the NES, because no one even talks about Mario Bros. 2. Okay, so let me just try to explain. I think Mario Bros. 3 is a great game. I certainly do think it's a great game. But people calling it the best 2D Mario game, I think that's a little bit too much. The graphics definitely do look outdated, but that's not really a reason as to why it's overrated, because, you know, it was made on the NES. I mean, of course it's not going to look good compared to some Mario games today, and even the ones on the Super NES. The controls are still pretty solid. When it comes to the level design, I find it very inconsistent. Like, I think many of the levels are great, but some of the other ones are just terrible. I'll give an example, like the Munchers one where you have to grab a star. I mean, levels that require specific power-up to beat, I don't think are fun. Power-ups are supposed to provide variety to the player, and restricting them to just one that's basically a necessity in order to beat the level, I personally think isn't very good level designing. And let's be honest, the only world that truly has a great, like, consistency of great levels is the giant world. Because, I mean, hey, it's the giant world. That's where my donut lives. I mean, of course it's gonna be great. But, all jokes aside, I feel like the level design is just overall very inconsistent. And the music definitely is not the best the Mario series has ever seen. It does have some bopping tunes, but overall, it's quite underwhelming soundtrack compared to some other Mario games. And the music is reused a lot. So, don't get me wrong, Mario Bros. 3 is still a great game, but those little instances definitely make it a little overrated in my opinion, and I definitely don't think it should be seen as the best 2D Mario game. Alright, phew, now I can finally step away from the main series. But anyway, Super Mario Party. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I don't like Super Mario Party. I think it is a very underwhelming Mario Party game and one of the worst out there, and not including the advanced stuff or any of the portable ones. Ugh. But anyway, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Super Mario Party. I know that many people like to hate on 9 and 10 because of the car, but I'm just gonna say it again. The car is not that bad, alright? I have many reasons why I like the car. It's not that bad. Anyway, back from my little rant about Mario Party 9 and 10. So, why don't I like Super Mario Party? One, I think the minigames are very underwhelming and lead to a pretty bad selection overall. There are some great ones, like the one where you have to flip the steak, and some of the motion control ones are alright, but most of them are bad and very underwhelming. Like, the one where you have to grab pancakes, just why? And the one where you have to, like, fish a big fish out of the ground and listening to the rumble? Why? Like, why do we need this? They're not fun, they're just boring. And the boards. Oh, gosh. No, just no, not the boards. Look, I know many people are glad that they went to having multiple paths. And people are happy there's not the car anymore. But look, I found the car, they did that to make the turns go faster. Here the turns are slow as all can be, and the board's designs aren't even interesting. Barely anything happens on them. And basically, there's only one way you can get to a specific star. If you want to get to a star, there's pretty much only one way you can go. Making it so that the boards are pretty linear anyway, even though they have some different paths you can take. And even when they do have paths, there aren't even that many paths you can choose from. Take about the Fruit Island one. In order to go from place to place, you gotta take a pipe. And there's not really anywhere else you can go to places. You just have to go on a pipe, which I think is personally really annoying. And let me say this. There's only 4 boards. 4 boards! Mario Party 1 had 8, and that came out 2 decades ago. And yet, this new one only has 4? Are you kidding me, mate? And the other modes aren't even that good either. Like, River Survival is alright, and the music one where you play the rhythm games is also alright, but there's nothing groundbreaking that saves the game. And online. Ugh. Nintendo advertised online as if it was a big deal. A selection of 10 minigames is not a big deal. Why can't you play the full party mode online? Monopoly on the Switch can do it, why not Mario Party? All these reasons make me believe that Super Mario Party is an incredibly overrated Mario Party game, and I personally don't like it, and it shouldn't get near as much love as it does. Man, the Switch sure does have a thing with overrated Mario spin-offs, doesn't it? Oh boy, Mario Tennis Aces. This game does get mixed reception, and personally, I'm more on the negative side. Look, when it comes to Mario Tennis Aces, I can't deny that the main tennis mechanics are great. The main tennis mechanics definitely are great, and by far the best part of the entire game. But when it comes to the other modes, well, there's story mode, and that's pretty much it. Like, story mode is everything else you have. And oh god, the story mode. They were hyping this up to be something big and exciting, but it isn't. Story mode is literally just a bunch of missions. Like, you're going 5 different missions, and every time they get harder. The 6 worlds, that means you play each mission 6 times, except each time they get harder and more annoying. Annoying does not equal fun, alright? But, listen, I just don't find the story mode fun. The story mode is not fun. I find it more boring than anything. And the other modes, oh yeah, I forgot, there are no other modes. Look at Mario Power Tennis, alright? just look at Mario Power Tennis. Look at all the care and modes that went into that game. I would never get bored with that game if that's all I had to play for the rest of my life. All the courts are unique. There's so many different game modes you can choose from. Mario Tennis Aces does not have that. Mario Tennis Aces simply doesn't have that. The courts are semi-unique from one another, but the hazards aren't like enough. Like the hazards don't make as much big of a changes as they did in Mario Power Tennis, for example. And like, look at all the things that Mario Power Tennis and even the original Mario Tennis game, no, not the one on the Virtual Boy that doesn't exist, but the one on the Nintendo 64. Like, you can use Mario Kart items and you can use other things to adjust the tennis match. That kind of stuff isn't here, which still kind of boggles my mind. It's just, Mario Tennis Aces just has a very underwhelming amount of content to it, especially compared to the older Mario Tennis games. So, unfortunately, I don't think the Mario Tennis series is ever going to go back to the way it was with, all this care, modes, and attention to it. And I unfortunately don't think Mario Tennis Aces is that great of a game. Hence why I think Mario Tennis Aces definitely is an overrated Mario game. So the last overrated Mario game we'll be talking about is Super Paper Mario. And oh boy, it is not exactly super. Alright, so when it comes to Super Paper Mario, the story is fantastic. I know that's not controversial at all. I mean, everyone says the story is fantastic. But I mean, the gameplay itself, in my opinion, is kind of boring at times. Don't get me wrong, it is kind of fun periodically, but most of the gameplay is just kind of or just flat out boring. I do like some of the characters, even though the characters aren't as cool as Thousand Year Door 64. Don't worry, I'm going to make comparisons to that a lot. But overall, I just don't think that the characters and the gameplay even come close to standing up against the two originals. And I mean, this game is obviously better than Color Splash and Sticker Star, so at least it got that going for it. But the reason I think I see this game held in such a high regard is simply because of the story. That's what everyone talks about when talking about Super Paper Mario. They never talk about the actual gameplay. And yes, I agree, the story is fantastic, but everything else is just bland. The characters are really bland, the gameplay is boring, the bosses are pretty bland, the music's slapping, but I mean, hey, every Paper Mario game has slapping music, even Sticker Star, which is kind of surprising. But overall, everything in the game is just bland aside from the story. The story is all people talk about when talking about Super Paper Mario. No one ever talks about the gameplay side of things. So, overall, there's not really much for me to say. I just think the gameplay is bland, the characters are bland. I do like the pixels and all that, but once you're really only gonna use a few of them. And same can go with the characters. You do need to use them periodically, you need Mario for most of the stuff and all that. But for battles, you mostly just use Bowser and you'll win. You barely use Luigi at all unless you really want to, and same goes with Peach. So mostly you're just using Mario and Bowser the whole time, which I think overall is just not a good thing. So yeah, Super Paper Mario, to me, I wouldn't say it's as bad as some other games I talked about, but it's really not that great either. The story's fantastic, but everything else is just pretty bland. So those are the 5 Mario games that I consider overrated. What did you guys think of this video? Did you agree with the games I chose? Do you disagree with the games I chose? Let me know in the comment section down below. I read and respect all comments, and if you enjoyed this video, why not leave a like on it and subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon. Bye.